This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Did not know that.
Wow. You want to be my wife?
Oh, this is going to go downhill real quick.
What is going on? And welcome to Take on the World with
Johnny.
John who?
John T.
John.
The famous?
John? Who are you? I haven't
don't
seen
know.
you in so long.
Yeah, you thought that I disappeared off the face of the earth.
And Mike D. It has been quite some time since we sat down and were able to tape together.
Yeah, I was in a mental hospital.
Let's go back and touch on yeah. Let's go back and touch on some of the stuff that happened. The reason why it's been so long is you went to Colorado on your elk hunt this year.
Yep, you left me on my own, which is fine.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't fine. I wanted to go.
Yeah, so it's just, a lot of life stuff going on, and sometimes we can't make it up to record, and...
Yeah, fuck all that. Talk about your elk hunt.
Oh, my elk hunt.
Yeah.
Fucking great, man. Although, when I got off the plane and I got in, I didn't feel right, man.
It's because I wasn't there.
I felt run down, and I actually felt like I was coming down with something. And
you missed me.
And it was separation anxiety. But then I think my dad got a touch of maybe what I had. So it was weird. So it was a slow start. And needless to say, we ran into a ton of stuff. And I helped the dude shoot a moose. Actually, I kind of pointed him in the right direction. Yeah, so the guy filled his moose tag. We didn't see any bull elk. And yeah, it's just, they're so hard to hunt, man.
Well, you sent me a picture with the moose, right?
I did, yeah. I still have the pictures of the moose. It was a pretty big moose. I'm not really sure how they score them, but
It's okay.
I would say it's probably, it wasn't a huge monster, but it was pretty dang big. So we helped the guy butcher it and haul it out of the woods. Me and my dad pretty much hauled the chunks out because it was like the middle of the night. He had a lamp in the woods. And he actually had a baby stroller, like a jogging baby stroller. And my dad
That's
had
funny.
his cart. Yeah. That thing worked great, man.
Did it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we just threw the freaking meat in the baby stroller and hiked it up the woods and in and out into his truck. And then it's just beautiful, man. It was super warm too. I think that was the other issue. Yeah, but moose, I saw so many moose up there. Like, I don't know what the heck's going on. We talked to the game warden, and he said that GMU is the prime spot for big moose in Colorado.
And that's where we were hunting?
Yep.
Because I saw the two moose the year we were out.
Yeah. And I never saw moose up there. Well, I say once, but that was at that one lake we went to.
I don't know. Those moose scared the shit out of me when I came up.
Dude, they don't care. It's
No, they
almost
don't.
like it's almost like too easy, I would say, because the first night we were there, with just a moose, a cow moose came in with her calf and just plopped down like 60 yards from us in our camp, and we're like banging pots and pans, and this thing's like, don't care.
Fuck you. I'm
Yeah,
laying here.
Well, we had them coming across the road. Everything. It was crazy, man. But the one thing you got to take into consideration is that, if they decide to turn on you.
Yeah, I know. That's what they told us in Alaska when we were up there. They
Yeah,
just
you
said,
better look out because they'll
you
kill you real
just
quick.
stay away from them motherfuckers.
Yeah. I mean, they're so big. They're so freaking big. And actually, the guy that shot the moose that we were with, it was the week prior to that, his buddy got mauled by a moose in the same area.
Oh, Jesus.
And yeah, the game warden showed pictures of the moose. The thing was huge. And its velvet was all torn up, and it looked like it had guts hanging off of its antlers. And
I always think those are the best pictures.
yeah, and the thing was a monster, dude. Huge. And But yeah, this guy, he was
Now,
out.
you saw the same game warden we saw the year before,
Yeah,
correct?
yep. Yeah, he asked about you too.
Yeah, he's a
by
good
the way.
dude.
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah.
He's
Shout out to Justin out there in Colorado.
Yeah. And super cool. I mean, he's always like, hey, you can try up here. This is so.
Yeah, that's what he did, and then we talked about that. If you haven't had a chance, go back and listen to our we have 3 episodes on our elk hunt from last year. A little bit outside the wheelhouse from what we normally do, but we just had a great time. We wanted to share it with y'all, and we did. And go back and listen to that. And we talk about Justin, and the game warden came down and checked our licenses as they should. And I know some people get shitty about that. I'm like, dude, you're doing your job. I got no problem with that.
Whatever. If you're not doing anything wrong, who cares?
Right. So come check it. And so we were very cordial with him. He was very cordial with us. And we started talking to him, and he's like, oh, he was giving us tips like, hey, I see, guys getting stuff over here. And I guess,
Yeah.
and he put us in an area. Now, we didn't get an elk, but we certainly did play cat and mouse with a couple.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, we did.
and that was fun. That made that last day of hunting,
Yeah.
like I'll never forget it.
Yeah, it's not. It's they call it hunting for a reason. Cause,
Yep.
If
It's
they're
not
easy-
catching.
Yeah, it's very easy. Everyone can do it. So he gave us some tips. He told us to go up to that. We went up to the top of the place where we were at last time.
Oh, did you?
We went down into that little saddle or that drainage. I don't know what you want to call
It's
it.
a saddle.
And then we walked out there, but we went up that road and back. It's gnarly out there, dude. And we made it to the end of that road, and it just stops and goes into a horse trail and goes to another mountain.
Well, that's what he said. The outfitters go up there with horses, and
But
we might have some luck down below him because they chase him down.
Yeah, he told us the same thing. He goes, those outfitters were here 2 weeks ago, and they pushed him down. So he goes, you might want to go to the end of that. But we didn't know the area, so, you don't really want to.
Shit, I should have given you my GPS when you went.
Yeah,
I thought that was helpful when we were out there.
Yeah, I think my dad has one, but, I always get a little leery, especially because he likes to break off and like go a little further, and like I don't want to get lost while I'm out there, and I want everything to go smooth, but we didn't really scout the area, so we had no clue where to go, what to do.
Well, I know the last time when we went, you told me we were going, and I was on freaking Google Maps, like mentally mapping the whole area, and then we went to a completely different area than what we talked about.
Yeah.
But
And that's kind of like, that's why I always say, like, you can make a plan, but you get there and it's kind of like, oh shit, like things look different, and then you see something else that you might like, and you go with that. But like I was saying, like when we pulled into camp, there was this damn bull elk, like probably I would say maybe 500 yards. We went there the first day down by that river.
okay,
And there's actually, if you walk straight back behind the camp, the road's here, you walk straight back behind the camp for maybe about a mile, not very far, and you hit like a ridge and a cliff,
you're trying not to hit your mic.
and there's that river that runs through it, but you go towards the end, it's this fucking like straight drop off down like God knows how long.
Yeah, and then fucking elk go down that.
I don't think it would go down that. That was pretty steep. But
Okay.
I think he was on the other side, so I think he would come down, cross the river, bugle, and then go back the other way. Like that big one that we kept calling, and he kept coming up and down the mountain.
Yeah,
And that's what they do, man. They're so powerful and strong. They'll circle you, they'll get downwind of you, and they'll bugle. You make a noise, they'll get downwind, and they outsmart you. And so
so you had a good time.
I had a great time, man.
That's awesome.
It was
Your dad missed me too, I'm sure.
your dad did, yeah, Dad did, yep. We got a tent that didn't leak this year.
Yeah,
I wasn't sleeping in a puddle of water.
and you were in a low spot too.
I was in the low spot, dude. But I was happy as a clam, man. I was like, even though I was stuffed in my sleeping bag, and I would get too hot, and I would like.
Oh, I didn't get too hot. That first night when I was sleeping on that air mattress, I had nothing underneath me. I just slept on the air mattress. That was so fucking cold. I was
Really?
shivering, dude.
Oh my god!
And then,
You didn't drink enough whiskey.
yeah, that's it. And then the next night, your dad gave me something to put underneath me. And
Yeah.
just that little bit of
A
insulation,
little bit of insulation helped.
I was fine. I
Yeah.
was perfect.
He actually bought a second cot, so I got to sleep on a cot.
Wow, look at you.
And like, dude, I could not wake up in the mornings. Like, he would get up and at like 4:00 in the morning, and he's like, I don't feel. He was like coughing and stuff, and like didn't feel good. He's like, dude, I'm sorry. I feel run down. I'm like, dude, I feel the same way. And so I would say probably like this year was not one of our strongest hunts. We definitely did get out. Oh, the one day we were out there for 11 hours. We went out in mid-morning and we sat till it got dark. And the one time I fucking passed out underneath a log or next to a log. It was like freezing cold. Then like the sun came out and I was like, oh. So I just like laid down and my dad came over and he's making some kind of noises and I woke up and I was like, oh, what the? And he's like, how the hell are you gonna see anything from down there? And I'm like, oh, dude, I just totally passed out, man. So,
Dude, I still remember that first night we were out the year before, and we finally got all the tents set up and everything, and I'm sleeping, and I swear to God, you're snoring, and this is no bullshit. This is not made for television. His snoring, I thought it was a fucking bear in camp. I was afraid to open a zipper in my fucking tent because I thought it was a fucking bear snorting around camp.
dude,
And I laid there for hours listening to it. Every time I went to open a zipper, I'd hear it again. I'm like, fuck.
I get exactly what you're saying because I woke up the one night and I think I'm pretty sure it was my dad, but I swear to God, like my mind played, I thought it was a fucking Yeti wood knocking. And I would hear like somebody off in the distance, like took a big log and they would hit a hollow tree. So you hear like, and then I would hear it over here. And then I would hear it like over here, and I'm like, "Oh my God,
The Yetis are coming to get
and I
us.
started getting closer, and then I swear I heard it like grunting, and then as I like came out of it a little bit, it was like my daddy was like making some kind of weird noise with his mouth. I'm like, is that? I'm like, but I swear to Christ, I almost woke him up. I'm like, Dad, give me your gun. I'm like something's at the tent. I gotta shoot it. But yeah, we saw a fucking coyote came through our tent. Big motherfucker too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I thought it was a wolf, but it wasn't even like I was like making noises and then nothing to do with this. It just like strolled through our camp and took off. But yeah, man, it was awesome. I love going out there, and I think, you know, as we're getting older, it's getting harder and harder, especially for my old man. Not saying he's like crippled or nothing, but you know, it's to be running around the woods, walking fucking 20 miles or whatever you need to do. That's hard.
But you're younger than I am, so
Yeah.
like it was like I prepared myself to go out there by going out and hiking the hills here, and I still wasn't prepared because the hills here are nothing.
It's the
compared to
elevation. That's what
yeah.
gets you.
Oh my God.
The elevation takes the wind right
Well,
out
you
of
remember when we were going through the airport? I was like,
Oh, it's too, dude. Yeah, we both were. Like, well, I took the steps and I'm like, oh,
and it's not just
my
because
God.
I'm fat. It was because that air is so thin. So
Yeah, well, especially when you're not used to it, and you're going straight from here with zero elevation. You know, the highest mountains we have here is like 200 feet. So you're
maybe 2,000 feet.
no, I don't even think because 2,000 feet is technically a mountain.
Yes.
But I don't think we have actually any mountains here.
Blue Mountain Ski Resort's like 3,500 feet.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But anyways, you're going from that to like flat lands out there is 7,000.
Yeah, I know.
7,500 feet.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge difference.
Yeah. So that's just weird, you know. But I'll probably go again. I think I'm going to retire my bow that I have. It needs a new string on it, and it's just old, and I want to get a new bow. So,
Okay. Fair enough.
So I told my dad that. He's like, oh, so he's like, you want to give it one more try? He was probably like, fuck. God, hell, oh my goddamn. But I know he wants me to get an elk. He's, you know, he wants to be proud.
Well,
and have that
I know
moment.
when we were out there, like he really wanted us to get something.
Yeah. He's always been that way.
Which,
I mean, and I
which
would
was really
too.
cool because,
Yeah.
like I said, when we went out there, he didn't know me, but
He tried. You know, he tried hard.
we did everything we could to get one. And
And
I like I said, I had fun. I had fun the whole time we were out there. I had a great time that last 2 days hunting
Yeah.
because we were basically playing cat and mouse with an elk.
Oh yeah. But that big guy.
He won. He won, but
Yeah. We
and your
had
dad
those-
actually saw it. It was right up above me.
Yeah.
So
We had those two. We had that. Oh, it was like 2 or 3 days in a row. That elk every morning at the same time he would come in and bugle for about 15 minutes, and then he would. And we went out and chased him down each time, but we could never figure out where the hell he was coming from. And there was a goddamn river in the way too. And my dad's like, "Hey, can we pass that river?" I'm like, "You're gonna get wet." He's like, "Fuck that." He's like, "We don't have the stuff ready for that." And then it was a sheer like fucking cliff on the other side, so there's no way we could cross the river and you couldn't do anything.
did you go to that area that was so burnt out? Did you go through there at all?
Were we camped the
The
first
first night, yeah.
No, we didn't even.
I'm just wondering if anything grew up yet.
No, it looks the same pretty much.
Wow.
There's a little bit of stuff growing about, maybe half a foot,
Well, that's good.
but yeah, it still pretty much looks the same.
So, we did a beer review on a beer that I'm drinking. This is Gnome Hooch by Conshohocken Brewing. Check the channel out. That should be out before this, I think. So, you want to check that out.
Delicious.
What are you drinking there, bud?
I got the Evil Genius Num Num. Num Num. Where do I need to point it to? Get it on
Nom nom.
the. I'll pick that up.
It probably won't, but
Well,
I'm going to get a picture of
God,
it.
it's so tiny. Blends in with your shirt too. It's all white. It's a apple cider donut style ale. That's
How
a
is
first for me. It's fucking delicious.
Is it?
Very human? Try.
Yeah, I haven't had any yet. You're not sick, are you?
In the head.
You weren't sucking nothing before you came up here?
Well, you'll find out. You got something growing on your lip.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's nice and apple cidery.
I
very,
expected, because I smelled it, it smelled sweet, but it's
Yeah.
not.
No,
It's not
it's
a
they did a good job.
Yeah. 10-4. So,
It's a sipper.
let's talk about the Deluxe Edition Network a little bit.
Okay.
So we are on the Deluxe Edition Network.
Commonly referred to as the Den.
The Den. It's Deluxe DeluxeEditionNetwork.com. You want to go there and check that out. It just keeps growing and growing, and there's some great podcasts on there.
Yep, tons of information. You have all kinds of cool stuff. What do you see? Monsters, from any kind of topic you can think of.
Yeah.
To get your fill. Get your late night fill from the DEN.
There's a couple guys who do movies, a couple guys who do pop culture. Casey and Ray the Podcaster do the Deluxe Edition podcast, and they do some great interviews with some great directors and people in the movie industry.
Yeah. So if you're sick and tired of watching those YouTube shorts and getting those political ads,
Yeah. Anyway,
and you're looking for something a little new, check this out, man. I think it's gonna fit that bill perfectly.
I love listening to some of the movie podcasts because I am a cinephile.
Right.
This month, there's always a Spotlight podcast, and this month it is Horsing Around, the Red Horse podcast, if you're still listening to this in November. Because we kind of tape out of order and whatnot, but
We do what we want. Man.
I'll mention the Spotlight podcast now, or the podcast of the month now, for November is Horsing Around, the Red Horse podcast. Those guys do monsters and cryptids and conspiracy theories and
I love that stuff. All that stuff.
a lot of the
is
stuff
right
that,
up my
that
alley.
we do, but they do some stuff that we don't. They're worth a listen because they're just guys having a good time. So check that out. Go to the Den. Go to DeluxeEditionNetwork.com. I keep fucking it up.
It's all right. It's been a while.
Casey messaged me a couple weeks ago. He goes, "You put the episode up. Everything's good." He goes, "But you gave the wrong website." I'm sorry, dude. Because I cut promos for all of them. Like you
Yeah.
and I cut promos for all of
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
and I got to change them all because.
Yep.
So
It's all right.
it is what it is.
Just correct it. Keep moving forward.
That's right.
This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
What is going on, and welcome to Take on the World. Did not know that.
Wow. You want to be my wife?
This is gonna go downhill real quick.